Good morning and welcome to the planting of the gourd seed day. So behind me is the hotbed full of so much lovely horse poo that is currently composting and generating heat. It's covered with a stained cloth, and yesterday I harvested gourd seeds from gourds that I saved, and they've been soaking overnight, and so we are ready to go. Check soil temperatures. The soil temperatures in the hotbed is a lovely 68 degrees. The soil temperatures in other raised beds are only hanging out around 60 degrees, which is pretty warm for this time of year. We had a really hot weekend, and so that probably boosted soil temperatures more than what they normally would be at this time period. But let's see what happens. So this morning we are going to plant gourd seeds according to Thomas Hill and the Gardener's Labyrinth. He has pages and pages about growing gourds in chapter 30. The area that we're going to focus on here is the gardener minding to commit of the seeds to the earth, hot afore, steep them in a bowl or pan of water for a night, whereby the seeds apt to be sown may the sure be known, which he shall well perceive by those resting in the bottom, of the cunninger sort and preferred in use, but the others swimming above as unprofitable and serving to no use, are willed to be thrown away. And sure enough, here's my little bowl that have gourd seeds soaking overnight, and some have floated to the top and some have sunk to the bottom. So we will be sure to use the ones that are at the bottom, and we'll throw away these floaters that are on top. Yay! So the chosen seeds are to be set in beds, together with 3 fingers unto the middle joints, and the sharper ends fixed upward. So with that, the gourd seeds are this delightful little creature that is definitely kind of like this weird little angular creature, and with a very pointy end. And I did a pre-germination test on these, on gourd seeds, and the leaf and the roots both come out of the top part here, the pointy end that Thomas Hill is encouraging us to point upwards. And this makes good sense, because then that decreases kind of the friction of the leaves as they are emerging from the soil. They don't have to kind of flip this whole seed around, they can just pop on up. And with that too, I'm going to try both planting them with my fingers and also with a dibbler. And then this is middle joints here is about 2 inches on the dibbler. And so there we go. He goes on to talk about the hotbed, and then this portion here is, or rather to procure them speedier to grow and yield the fruit sooner, let the beds be filled with hot horse dung, new taken out of the stables. And that's what I did just a couple of days ago. And yeah, and again, they're doing really well. About 2 inches deep is where the soil temperature was 68 degrees. So here is my little hotbed, and let's uncover it and see what happens. In the bed, there's a hazel framework. This is to both support the cloth covering and then also to, hello chickens, help keep things contained during the growing season. I was originally going to plant 6 gourd groupings in here, but I think I'm going to reduce it down to just 4. And that is to help with the predicted drought and water stress. And then also, both Hill and Gerard speak of planting the groupings 2 to 3 feet apart, and so that spacing better aligns to 4 per plant. So here we go. Dun, dun, dun. All right, we're going to try planting with the 3-finger technique up into the middle joint. Kind of widen those holes just to make sure dirt doesn't fall back in. And then take my gourd seed here, and then pointy tip up, put it in the hole, pointy tip up, put it in the hole, and pointy tip up, put it in the hole. And cover it with some soil. Good luck, little creatures. And then planting with a dibbler. Make 1 hole, 2 holes. I kind of like this better because I can get the holes further apart. I think that might be helpful. But who knows if it matters or not. And then again, pointy side up into the hole. Pointy side up into the hole. And pointy side up into the hole. Cover them with dirt. And wish them luck. An additional step I'm going to do is water in the seeds a little bit. Hill doesn't say to do this specifically. Gerard talks a lot about watering gourds. They both do. And Gerard specifically always talks about leaving the water out overnight to warm up some, because well water from the ground is usually around 50 degrees. And gourd seeds need something at least like around 65 to be happy. So I'm going to use a little gourd scoop that I made up in the fall. And give that ground a little bit of extra water. Okay, so our gourd seeds are planted, and they're covered up with the stained cloth again. The stained cloth is neat because of the rabbit size. It makes it really stiff, and so it just kind of acts as this clamshell, kind of like a big lid you can take on and off the bed, which is pretty darn handy. According to Gerard, we just let these things hang out for about 7 to 8 days. We don't lift the fabric, we don't add water, we don't do anything. Just let them germinate. Really trap the heat of the hotbed of all that decomposing poo, so hopefully soil temperatures will stay in the high 60s, maybe even the 70s. I am going to take a peek every morning and do a soil temperature check just to keep an eye and see what that horse poo is up to. So I hope all is well, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you get some dirt under your fingernails.